Welcome back to the one and only. We're gonna make it softer. This is the Quiet Hug podcast. Absolutely. And like they say, sometimes it's quiet, but it doesn't mean absence. It means presence. So there's even presence of objects of, you're in your living room and you're thinking about what is tomorrow going to bring. You're thinking about work if it's the next day you have to go to work. But it's a sense of that, having furniture, you know, around and still there's a presence, although it may be quiet from human beings, but it's something to think about. Absolutely. So with that in mind, no further ado, I have the one and only Bone from the Maid and Counter Store on the line. How are you?
I'm good and yourself.
Good, good. Absolutely. So I know that I presented to you this podcast, but you agreed as well that this is definitely needed. Can you share why?
Yeah, I mean, because on Christmas, we forget about the people that's going through things that's not really, connected with family, and they doing things by themselves, like you said, going out to eat and going to a movie on Christmas, just to get away from the pain, the loss of a loved one, or the absence of a kid going to college that's growing up, the empty nester. You know what I mean? It's just a whole lot of reasons that Christmas like make people feel a little down and out, a little depressed.
Absolutely. And then sometimes they say when they're around, people can be around other people and loved ones, but it's something about the fact that there's responsibilities and there's conversations that some people don't want to have. And I think part of that really makes it, some pressure and stress for other people too, you know, because some people don't understand if they don't communicate often, and sometimes you can communicate with people and it's been a long time and you communicate well. So I think, it goes back to thinking about the vibrations and the frequencies. So, you know, just like some people, they listen to jazz on their way home from work so they can decompress from the day's work. And other people turn up, because it's one of those things that it makes you feel like you're in a room full of people, like a party. And that's another way to feel like you can get a hug when you need it most. Sometimes just going to places, and I think that's why sometimes people forget about proximity. They're a little bit too close, but that's because they want to feel the love. They are looking for love anyway. And you know me.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I know that's a lot at a time, but there's something that you want to share about when there's a time. I mean, you know so many people, but you have heard so many different stories, and it's something about the camaraderie of being able to be a great listening ear when and
Oh
that's a
yeah,
form of
you know
quiet.
some
Hmm.
yeah. Sometimes people need to unload, and you need to just let them unload. You can tell when people got a lot on their mind and it's a lot of tension. So that's when it's good to be just a listening ear and don't even try to have the answers. Just listen.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, and then sometimes it's just a matter of, like, I have this background. Sometimes that's why some people say they just go and sit, and some people go and sit and eat by themselves, or they go and sit at the beach, and maybe they do doodle, or draw, or take pictures. But it's something about having that quiet time to yourself, or quiet time with someone that just understands. Yeah, let's just be quiet. We're just sitting here and we're just quiet, and the energy is real. you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's important that, like there's different, like they say, different strokes for different folks. But there's something also about this thing called a hug. And then we have the quiet hug on a Thursday, if you will, a Thursday, the quiet hug. What is that? And sometimes, you have to actually schedule time to reflect. And I would think that Thursday is a good time too. Is after a week of work, have one more day. Sometimes they're looking for one more day, get paid one more day before the weekend, that type of thing. So Thursday, a time frame for people to reflect and just be quiet and calm sometimes. And, I'm talking to myself too. Eh, but it helps you to plan out different things and fine tune some things. Like we have businesses like, oh, I should move the raffle tickets here. They can't see it behind Teddy G right there. Those things when you get a chance to, you know, be quiet and just listen, to the atmosphere as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just ask you a couple of things here. I have a little list. Um, if today is quiet for you and you may have not wanted it to be, I so quiet, what would you do?
I would listen to some music.
What type of music?
Mm, me, I'm a rap head, so probably be more than likely some rap music.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, when you listen to rap music, do you feel like you're around people?
No, but I feel like it takes my mind off of not being around people.
Got you. Absolutely. Good one. That's deep. Yeah, that part right there. So having those go-to things to get your mind off of not being amongst people, that's something to think about too. Uh, if some people they say, I don't know really what my hobbies are, or and this and that, but those are the things that I think are developed when people are listened to more. If yeah, you know what I mean? Because I think sometimes people forget these are the things I really care about. These are the things I really like. These are the things that I do to deflect, when I'm hurt or sad, lonely, and that type of thing. Sometimes people forget. So moving on, let me ask you about a hug. What do hugs do for you?
It just depends on what I'm going through and the moment I get one.
Got you. Absolutely. Now, let me give you some backdrop here about a reflective discussion prompts here. It says hugs that come from memory. That's really something that I hadn't thought about. Like, when you think about really, not often do you just think about, oh, when so and so hugged, unless they hug you so big and squeeze you. Absolutely. And you're like, wow, they're so memorable. And then you have, so many different types of hugs, like you said, what you're going through, who the person is, and the memories play a part in that, you know? So just like somebody hug you really big and strong, then you're gonna look like, oh wait, hold on, because you have a good memory. Like and now comfort clothing, blankets or warm drinks. Definitely the maid and Compton robe makes you feel like you're hugged, wrapped in a hug. How does the maid and Compton store robe feel like a hug to you, or does it?
Uh, it just feels nice against my skin. I mean, especially like on a cold morning, it's a good relief from the chill factor. So yeah, I
Gotcha.
could equate it to a hug.
Nice, nice, nice. Because there's so many forms of hugs, not necessarily, like they said, it really has to be from, uh, say an equal, somebody that's like your same height or, or a sibling. It can actually, be, from, some people have pets and everything like that. And some people, they have teddy bears with big floppy arms and everything. So they come from different places as well. Now, some people, I've heard this one person tell me that they lean against a wall, they put their back on the wall, and they just imagine being hugged, like they had a hug that they can remember. But they have to back up against a wall, like the wall is like a form of, uh, touch. But it's just like, wow, that's deep. That's when it's like they're around nobody, or nobody's hugging them. They're not in the environment to be, the hug. You so readily just say, hey, how does love feel? And what is a hug a form of love? That type of thing. Because I was like, dang, have to back up against a wall. Woo, that's deep. So I remember that. And now going forward, just thinking, if you want to say, like when somebody shows up and it's like a long time you haven't seen them, why do you think people embrace like that?
It's just a form of affection and a form of I missed you.
Hmm.
Like I'm happy to see you type of gesture.
Nice. Yes, gesture, keyword, because I was reading something too. It also said it was something about, yeah, gestures can be subtle, and definitely, of course, a hug is gentle, and but at one point in time they took hugging out of the schools. I don't know if they put it back or not, but yeah, because hugs are really instrumental to the human body physiologically. So just imagine, the more you feel nurtured, the more you can learn, the more you can feel good. So, but I was like, wow, that's deep, that's deep. So, but like one of these things, segments listed here is talk about honoring the helpers of Christmas. There are so many people that go out and, like they say, over and beyond to do the decorations for one day. But then some people, they pay so much money, they leave them up until New Year's,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they definitely need to be honored. And I haven't really seen anybody that share so much about what that is, but you do see a lot of hugging at on the gatherings of Instagram, YouTube, and so forth. Like that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely shout out to all of the caregivers, the nurses, the drivers, everybody that helps to, have Christmas look the way it does everywhere in the world and everything. So that's pretty cool. Now, we have to talk about some food. So, what is your ideal meal for Christmas dinner?
Uh I won't say ham as much as it used to be, but turkey, ham,
Hmm.
yams, greens, macaroni and cheese, maybe some potato salad and some sweet potato pie.
Nice, nice. That sounds great. Absolutely. And, like they said that eating the foods that you like, it helps to release or wake up those endorphins in your mind and your body that make you feel good. You just automatically, may start singing or smiling or something when you're eating the food that you like, you know? And that's the same thing that they say about hugs. So it's like pretty neat that just getting a hug can release a lot of stress, you know? So just imagine, uh, it says here, you don't owe Christmas a performance. Sometimes you could just be, like they say, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. It's quiet, and have some time off from work, and I'm just chilling. Absolutely. So just a gentle reflection. Boom, this is Christmas podcast, just in case we listen to it, another time frame, and we're not looking at the date. But as we listen to the podcast again some other time, what would you like to say to yourself?
I like to say, what message am I conveying? Is it helping somebody out there? Hopefully, it's reaching the right people that's in need of what we're saying at the right moment. And that's what podcasting is all about. It's being able to connect with your audience in the time of need.
That's right. Absolutely. And I definitely would share that, sometimes it is a time to stay calm in order to help other people. Because sometimes, like myself, I have a bubbly, most of the time, bubbly attitude. And I am so energetic. And I forget sometimes that, or often, I don't even think about it that other people are not as energetic, and they need me to be calm. They need the quietness sometimes. And I notice like some older people that come to the store, I can match their energy. And then other times I'm just like, oh, you need this? Okay, da, da, da." And then I realize by the way they look at me like, wait, slow down. And I'm trying to follow you. Absolutely. But I do appreciate your help. But it's okay. Slow down. I'm older. So just to think about those people that are doing this on a regular, like nursing staff and, people that go to different people homes to help them with different things. It's like, yeah, you already seem to be like in that type of mood, if you will. And it's like, oh, sometimes we just need a reminder that it's okay. You can chill, you can relax. And the main Compton robe is so ideal. It's so ideal because just looking at it can relax you. Just rubbing the sleeve of the main Compton robe can relax you, can help to release some of that stress. And some people say that I don't wear robes, I get too hot, or I'm going through the menopause and things. And so, oh, hot flashes. And so, but I like it. And I'm thinking now that I would say in the future, I would like to share that, yes, sometimes you might just need to get that object that helps to produce the calming and the stress reliever that you need. And if it's as simple as a robe and looking at something so luxurious because you're constantly, working and, like, especially around the holidays, it's all the hustle and bustle, and even the long lines at the gas station. There's so many people in parking lots and trying to find a park, go to this place and go to that place. Sometimes it's like that during the week and a different time of the year. So consider, if it's not you or you somebody that listens to this podcast and you already have a maid Compton robe, please consider gifting someone else a maid Compton robe. And you may not know if they have those hot flashes or what have you. Men and women, and some of them say, I just sweat. I just sweat. I don't need that. But they may need it. They just may need it just to look at it, just to see it, just to touch it. It's amazing, you know? So it's just like instead of giving them bottle of Robitussin to help them feel better or, some type of smoothie, they might just need a made Compton rope. Just that's just an example. So I'm going to share on one, you know, Bone, if you have something to share, uh, to go ahead and share because I know it's not like a long podcast, but if you have some commentary that you want to share, or would you like for
Yeah,
me to ask?
I'd like to share the reason I got the Maiden Compton Road. It was
Mm,
because I was tired of stuff that I didn't want for Christmas. And it was like, oh, I got enough slippers, I got enough pajamas, like the family members' pajamas. I said, but I need something that's gonna be something for me. So as I was scouring the internet, I came across the robes, and I was like, wow, this looked like a real nice robe. So I couldn't see how it felt. So I ordered some, and when I ordered them, I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. And then I
mm,
got the made in Compton embroidered on them and made them available to everybody because I said I know there's more dads out there that feel like me and moms that feel like
mm,
they don't want another gold chain with a cross. They don't want another like bacon set, mittens and stuff of that nature and cookware. Sometimes you want something that's just for you, something you could put on and feel real nice in. So that
mm-hmm.
robe came in handy and it filled the need. I was happy with it, so I said I know other people would be happy with it.
Absolutely. And maybe in the future we can get some recordings of people that have the robe or are purchasing the robe, and yeah, get that information shared out there because it's something about doing the videos. They just can't really share how they feel. They are so super soft. Absolutely. So to hear from somebody else, than myself or you. Okay. Well, with that in mind, Bone, I have this brief history of hugs, and it's so interesting. It's just like a few paragraphs, like three. Okay. Hugs are
Okay.
older than words. Long before humans had language, physical closeness was a way to communicate safety, trust, and belonging. In early human history, touch helped regulate fear, strengthen bonds, and ensure survival. Holding one another meant you are not alone. Across ancient cultures, embraces symbolized protection and unity. Parents held children to calm them. Warriors embraced before separation, and families hugged as reassurance during uncertainty. A hug was a silent promise: I'm here and you matter. As societies evolved, hugs continued to serve emotional and social roles. They marked reunions, comforted grief, and celebrated joy. While customs differed, some cultures hugging openly, others more reserved, the meaning remained the same: connection. Even when not encouraged publicly, hugs existed privately as acts of care and love. Science later confirmed what humanity always knew instinctively. Hugs release calming hormones, reduce stress, and foster emotional healing. But long before studies, people understood the power of an embrace to steady the heart. Today, hugs remain one of the simplest and most powerful human gestures. They don't require explanation, translation, or perfection. A hug is history carried forward, an ancient language of comfort still speaking softly in modern times. What you think about that?
That was deep.
For
That
real.
was deep.
I didn't even know about the hugs meant that much, you know, and or historical myself. Man. Well,
It's always good to understand the meaning, the origin, and the effects of things.
mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I know it's Christmas and I want you to enjoy. I know they always have like nice movies, Christmas movies and everything. So I want to say thank you. And it is 9:30 at this time on Christmas Day 2025. And if it was anything that you want to share, otherwise I'm going to play one commercial that will just run into the outro.
Okay, no, I just like to say you're welcome.
Absolutely. Enjoy. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's so cool. And there it is on another commercial. So I'm gonna play the one with the rose. Got me in my feelings.